Thank you for joining us today. I'll be casting a match. HatcheryCake versus Cenderze, the E and F rank tournament.
All right, I'm excited for this one. I got both these guys as yellow. Here we go. Yellow versus purple, that'll do. So we've got HatcheryCake in the top left, or top right here, excuse me, of Eclipse in yellow, and Cenderze in the lovely magenta in the bottom left. So this has got to be my favorite matchup, I think, to cast. It's a lot of fun. I love the PvZ back and forth. It's not my best to play as Protoss, but I do enjoy it. What about
This
you?
isn't my favorite. This isn't my favorite cast, but it is my favorite to play.
Okay, cool, yeah.
I like Hydras. They're my favorite troop in the game, so to use a lot of Hydras.
Yeah, Hydras are one of the really key units in this matchup. Not really in either of the other two. Sometimes in it against a Terran, but they're
Yeah,
really
if he goes back.
right. Exactly, Hydras against Goliaths kind of thing. But in this one, they really have a strong place. So that's kind of cool. Protoss, on the other hand, just Zealots and Dragoons, man. Zealots are good, Dragoons are good, depending on what part of the game we're in. Of course, this is a two-player map here. Let me hide my replay panel and pull up the map. Whoopsie. Here we go. So the name Eclipse coming from the two different tile sets working with here. We've got the top right on the asphalt and bottom left on the Badlands. So Protoss, of course, going to get a scout off right away. And that looks like a 12 hatch, right?
Yeah, it was. Actually, no, it looked like 11. Either 12 or 11.
I think it was 12 because when the drone made the hatchery, it would have gone from 12 to 11.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So 12 hatch, 12 pool. Gateway first opening from HatcheryCake here. That's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit less standard at lower level play, but really kind of the way to go. Oh, I think that Zealot was scouted, so Cenderze's going to know what's coming, although the spawning pool still isn't finished yet, so this first Zealot could get some damage done against the 12 hatch.
Base being down for Jersey.
Alright, got 4 Zerglings coming up here, desperately trying to get them up to hold off. 6 Zerglings.
Oh, almost there.
Yep. And yep, Nexus is down. Nope, no Forge yet. So I think a good read there from the Protoss, knowing that Zerg is going to have a hard time counterattacking yet, so the wall doesn't have to go up until just about now. Okay, good catch by the Zerg here, shutting that Zealot down. I think maybe one drone went down, but a good hold, which means that's really good for the Zerg because their economy is going to get going. They've got 8 lings that they could run across and do something with, or they can just take their eco lead a little bit there.
Put that cannon farther in the back so the just can't get it.
Yeah, interesting choice there.
Seen players do that. Haven't figured out the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, it lets the Hydras get an easier snipe on the gateway and the forge. Of course, if you get Hydra busted, you really want, like 6 cannons anyway. But I guess the Protoss gets a little bit more room to maneuver here for now, so that's kind of nice. I love the flush back end of the wall here from the Protoss. That way it lets your cannons be lined up nice and neat, but...
So he's going to move out with 3 Zealots.
Yeah, I think this is just to make Zerg a little bit nervous and try to force out a few more lings. Zerg is getting the lair right away and a 4th hatch, so it doesn't look like we're going to get anything Hydra busty yet. Hydra busty. Protoss also a little bit behind on the build order there, floating a bit of minerals. That Stargate was a touch late here. I think it was just a gas shortage. All right.
HatcheryCake's been doing good. D rank now.
Yeah, they've been moving on up in the ranks there, and everything is looking good this game for HatcheryCake except for the late Stargate there, but should be ready to go again.
You running by there, holding the ramp.
Yeah, good call.
So,
Holding the ramp is a strong position for the Zealots, right?
yeah, definitely. It's hard to attack on the ramp.
Yeah, Zergling's just having trouble getting a good surround on these guys. They are going to take it out, maybe? Not yet. Okay, get a kill on a drone.
Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, Zealots get cleaned up. We are seeing Hydra play here. The lair was finished, but no Spire. But we have hatches number... Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hatches with the Hydra. Still just droning up here. We had a bit of a supply block. Did I miss the Corsair coming out or something?
It's out. There was an Overlord in HatcheryCake's base, and he got that.
Oh, okay. All right. So setting out here with 2 Corsairs. There's going to be no Scourge to scare these guys away, so he's going to have to get a couple of Hydras up. Oh, there's the 6th hatch. We might see some 6th hatch Hydra. I love that. Okay. Good timing here from the Protoss. We're going to have the +1 Zealot weapons as well as Zealot leg speed coming up with 4 gateways, Templar Archives. Yeah, the timing here from the build is really nice from Protoss. It doesn't look like we're going to see the 7:30 timing push, but we might see it a little bit later here. Meanwhile, Corsair's getting a full scout on what's going on. Lots of Hydras popping now. Oh, lots of Hydras. Yeah, all right. Zerg is ready to explode out onto the map.
I like to get a group in front of his base so he's contained, and I can expand more while he's contained.
Yeah, the Hydras don't do as much good standing in front of the Zerg base. Like you're saying, you really want to get out here. Keep the Protoss walled in. You can take a 4th, you can tech up, you can macro up, you get all the options when the contain is up. But okay, Protoss thinking about moving out with some speed zealots here. +1 is just about to finish, and we've got, whoopsie, how many zealots we got here? 10 zealots. Storm is about to finish. We got High Templar coming out, which is perfect. So if the Protoss tries to, or sorry, if the Zerg tries to counterattack, Storm will be ready for the Hydras. We'll have to see what this Zealot attack does. Zerg should have enough Hydras to handle it, and a decent wall off in both of the bases.
I think he'll clean this up.
Careful about the micro here. Zealots can rip through some Hydras if they're not all together shooting. So it looks like a pretty even trade. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Who do you think is coming out on top from that fight here?
I think that Protoss did more damage, and Zerg just produced some more troops. Not really sure.
Yeah. Protest's trying to expand here. It's a pretty early expansion. Might get shut down here. Also, we've got High Templars just chilling on the middle of the map, just begging to be picked off. Yeah, generally as Protoss, you can't expand until you've dealt with the Hydra bust. You want 6 to 8 gates. I mean, 6 gates are started now, but you really want to have a bit of a... Or actually, yeah, 6 gates. You really want to have all of those gates producing so you can get some Dragoons, some Observers, some Zealot High Templar, and then you push out and take your third. So... Ooh,
Any sneaky expansion. Any sneaky expansions could have been really good because no one scouted anywhere.
Yeah, we might get some High Templars picked off here. Gotta be careful with those. I like to leave my High Templars behind the wall off here, but... Alright, he'll save most of them.
Yeah.
So, HatcheryCake's opening looking really strong here. Just the map presence is a little bit rushed. But good thing he canceled the third base. He'll probably be able to go back and take it once we get some Dragoon Observer out. Meanwhile, Zerg got some Lurkers and moving out a little bit here. I think Zerg is looking pretty good. Not too far behind on supply. Maybe a fourth base.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, yes. Getting these 3 Lurkers here spread out nice above that ramp. Protoss would have to spend a lot of army to get up there, so that's basically a good base for Zerg. And now Protoss can take their third base, now that they've got a much bigger army to hold it. So, nice macro game here. Take a look at the... each of the bases from Zerg has 3 Lurkers in a kind of a diamond or a triangle configuration with a spore colony right in the middle. It's
ETs.
Right, yeah, and also Observers can't spot the Lurkers with the spore colony in front like that. I really like that. It's super strong. The only way that spore colony goes down is if you spend a lot of Zealots and Dragoons picking it off, and then you can go in with your Observer, but that's basically unassailable. Protoss with really strong macro, though, that's a 40 supply lead. Getting a lot of Dragoons, so many Zealots. You know, you've got basically everything you need, and there's an Observer. So Protoss has got the army comp that they need. We've got a triple evolution chamber, so Protoss is going to be upgrading really, really well here. I'd like to see a second forge from Protoss, honestly. They've got the money for it.
Yeah, that fourth base is starting to mine now. Looks like he's gonna put another spore colony like he did the other bases too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a pretty cost-efficient way of keeping the Protoss out of your bases. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hatches for Zerg.
Looks like a move out maybe, getting his troops organized.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to bust in any of the bases at the moment, maybe. But more importantly, just getting out on the map, taking control. Putting pressure on the Zerg. I don't know, who do you think has the lead here? It looks relatively even.
Honestly, I think Hatchery is the lead.
Man, that is a gigantic, scary army from Protoss.
Yeah, it is.
It's really funny, the Brood War, as opposed to StarCraft 2, the Brood War armies, I had to zoom out so far to see that whole Protoss army. Like, you can't just ball them up into one little thing, because there's just... the units take up so much space, it's kind of funny.
It's down at the right for HatcheryCake. The Overlord does scout it though.
Yeah, that's interesting, having those 2 bases right across from each other. I don't know if HatcheryCake knows that the Zerg base is right there. Okay, Protest has to be careful not to lose a lot of army on these lurkers.
Yeah, there's a lot of lurkers.
A couple of good storms would break a base, though, if we're not careful. Oh, there's one lurker down. Okay, cleared the spore colony. Protest is really trying to get up this ramp here. Good storm catching both lurkers in it. Oh man, trying to funnel up.
Good job.
Yeah, trying to funnel up this ramp, but you know, Protest units just do not want to work together to get up a ramp. So, finally does bust in, but the supplies are even now. Ooh, nice storm on the drones there. Good hit. We've got one storm remaining to keep those Hydras down. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. That's so much. So good. So good.
Fourth base is not going to be able to be... It's getting shut down.
Yeah, I think that was an unfortunate placement there. I think up here would have been better for a fourth base for Protoss, but it's okay. Protoss still has 3, and Zerg still has 4, although Zerg might lose their third base here, so Protoss still in a good position, even though they lost their 4th.
Zerg can clean up the third base.
Yeah, should be able to here. As soon as the Hydras in those eggs pop, Zerg should be able to kick him out. I do really like the army split from Protoss, kind of keeping the pressure on that third base, and also trying to, you know, maybe claim back their 4th, maybe just move out of the map. HatcheryCake really not losing control. And there we go, that's a much better 4th base for Protoss.
Hopefully a Defiler in soon. I'm starting to realize how good a Defiler really is.
Yeah, the Defiler Plague is really good against all the meaty Protoss units, and Dark Swarm can just completely negate Dragoon, the Dragoon numbers here, and then the Protoss has to go back to Zealot Archon. So, yeah, Zerg definitely has the economy for it. Let me count the hatches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hatches. Protoss is really keeping the pressure on this third base, and that might make a really big difference later on in the game.
That 4th base also getting shut down once again.
Yep. Absolutely.
Really good job.
Oh man, all 3 of these hatches going down at Zerg's 3rd. That was some really good army positioning. Those Dragoons on the high ground just getting so many kills. I'm counting, you know, each one has like 2 or 3. Yeah, Zerg is really in trouble. They really have to do more than just shut down the Protoss 4th base here. Supply lead for Protoss is getting insane. Okay, Protoss camping right outside. Oh, what was that?
Cenderze was, if he didn't shut down those bases, then he would have been out of the game, but he did a good job shutting down the bases.
That's true. That's true. If Protoss did have a 4th base up and running right now, it'd be even worse, so that at least is good. Shutting down the 4th base a 3rd time. Wow. This has got to be a giant headache for HatcheryCake. Really trying to get a 3rd down. Or really trying to get a 4th down. Alright, pushing up here. Gonna have to keep the observers alive. It's gonna be tough. Yep, observers go down, and you know, this lurker spore colony combo is really hard to attack. Especially without storm.
That's really smart.
Yeah, I would look at that, positioning the Zerglings around the spore colony. Keep zealots off of it.
Now.
I like the Nidus between... Wait, where's the other end?
It's natural. It is the fourth base,
Oh,
which
there
is
it
now
is.
third base.
Yeah, I like that because those bases are far enough away. You really want to be able to control the high ground behind your choke. So Zerg is going to have to take another base here, but the bases they do have are pretty safe. Okay, lots of Zerglings moving out here.
The HatcheryCake should just get that base up and running and get some defenses around it, and then he can move out.
Really nice hold there at HatcheryCake's expansion. A bunch of Zerglings got in and did basically nothing. Here they are sniping one Templar, but they just can't seem to get any damage done. Oh, they're not even sniping the Templar. Wow, okay. Cleaned up really nicely there from HatcheryCake. And the fourth base for Protoss once again trying to get that up.
It's an army for Zerg. Got a few high Templars, that'd be very helpful.
Yep, no observers there and no high Templars, so this is going to be cleaned up. Protoss really trying to control this space, but got to be careful against lurkers. Okay, lurkers moving on to the high ground. Ooh, nice storm, nice storm.
Yeah.
Still no observer here.
The fourth base getting shut down once again.
Oh my goodness, that's got to be a gigantic headache. HatcheryCake's got to be careful here. He's got to be taking good engagements. He's got to be able to defend his fourth base. I mean, just you have an army lead, put your army at the fourth base to try to keep it from being shut down again and again. Looks like both sides are really just focused on denying the other ones expansions here.
It's a Zerglings.
Protoss does not have a whole lot of observers around, and that's really costing them a lot. You got to get back and make a bunch of those because your army loses so much efficiency when you can't deal with the lurkers right away. I'm actually worried that Protoss is going to be able, or that Zerg is going to be able to come back.
Zerg can deny this base once again. Get really helpful and get all of these probes.
Yeah, I think HatcheryCake's falling apart a little bit. He's got to get observers out. He's got to protect his base, even if it means letting the Zerg get another base of their own. They're mined out in the main, mined out in the natural, so you really only have one mining base. Okay, finally, some observers get over here, and the fourth base is protected for the moment. Can HatcheryCake pull this game back? Look at all this long-distance mining from the probes here.
Hope we can. We'll throw down a Pilar map. Pilar den. It's really good. Be really helpful.
Yeah, I think with the way HatcheryCake is struggling a little bit with all of the things to multitask with, if Zerg got some defilers out and put some Dark Swarm down, I think Protoss would just not have the APM to handle it. Okay, fourth base is finally mining. You just got to keep these Hydras out of here. And the supplies are evening up. Zerg actually ahead on supply. That's no good. Zerg getting a fourth base up again. And Protoss finally, holding their fourth base. We've got 2 mining bases for each race at the moment. This one's going to mine out, and Zerg will be able to move over there. So, again, Protoss should have the base advantage here, but they're just trading inefficiently with the armies and being harassed to no end. If Protoss could, I don't know, maybe get some Corsairs out and clean out all the Overlords that are... Or even just use the Dragoons to clean out the Overlords that are giving Zerg such good vision everywhere. I think that would be a big difference. Look at all these cannons going down.
It doesn't want that base to go down again.
Yep. Gotta keep some units there, a few Zealots, because Cracklings can go in and just chew through these cannons very quickly if Zerg wants. Alright. Zerg's natural just mined out, so we've got the 2 bases over here, which should be pretty easy to hold. 2 mining bases for the Protoss. Ooh, I hear Overlords slurping something up here. What do we got?
Duelist and Zergling.
Yeah, that's a bit of a force here. Maybe able to clean up some of the production for Protoss if he goes in the main there. We'll have to see. This could be a game changer.
No cannons or anything that'll get rid of it. His army is all the way at the base location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of times Protoss is like, okay, I don't have to worry about my probe line in the main because there's no minerals there anymore, but you do actually have to keep Cracklings off your gateways or you're going to be in trouble.
Heading up now.
Also, the macro slipping a little bit for the Protoss here. We've got multiple units queued up on a couple gateways and then some that aren't producing at all. So, just go through Zealot, 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 Zealot from each one would really help because there's going to be no units popping out to hold this drop. I'm worried.
And 2 more bases. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. 2 more bases for Protoss is going to help. But if you don't have any production, what are you going to spend your money on? Here we go. Shooting for the pylons. Interesting. Trying to supply block, maybe?
Hey, you just drop them first, and then they just automatically went to them. Not focusing anything down yet.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Dragoons coming back right away. They're going to clog up the ramp, and Dragoons don't handle Zerglings very quickly, so... Protoss struggling a little bit. They just kind of A-moved everything back. Zerglings are already clearing 1 gateway. Should be able to clear another one super easy. Whiffed Storm there.
Yeah.
And gonna snipe this Observer if he's not careful as well. Interesting. Unpowered Citadel going for the Templar Archives. That'd be a nice snipe.
Yeah. Ferg's gonna get it, though.
Got some Zerglings here. Maybe a counterattack while the main is being held off, so... Alright, it looks like we lost a couple of gateways. Not the end of the world, but a big mental, a mental win for the Zerg because now the Protoss' army is all tied up at the main and Zerg is going to counterattack here, shut down these cannons.
Yeah.
Zerg is really taking control of this game.
Being really smart and not using a bunch of troops, but still being able to be as efficient as he can with the amount of troops that he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, numbers-wise, Protoss has the lead. They have more bases, they have more money, they have more supply, more probes, but Zerg is just being so much of a headache. I think they'll be able to turn this around if Protoss isn't careful. Protoss' army is just not fast enough to defend everything.
So probe kills and there's 2 bases going down.
Yeah. Now, still, we have 2 mining, 2 mining bases on each side, which should favor the Protoss.
Yeah. Protoss is almost mined out. And the Zergs is almost also mined out too, but not as bad.
Yeah. Got another counterattack here. Protoss' army needs to not be in one place, I don't think. Oh, look at the supply lead now. Zerg just counterattacking everywhere, getting so much efficiency. Let me check the upgrades, actually. Protoss is +1/+1 armor and weapons, and Zerg is at +2/+2. That might actually be the difference here. I didn't used to believe so much in upgrades, but it makes such a big difference when your army is just that much stronger. So now Zerg is ahead on supply again, just about tied up. I'm really worried for HatcheryCake. He's just struggling to hold back all of the aggression. No more gateways being built here in the main, and no more upgrades coming. HatcheryCake's got to be careful not to overqueue his gateways, because that's a lot of money that could go into more gateways being built, or forge upgrades, or bases. It's just another little macro slip that's going to give the Zerg the edge. It's so hard to handle this late game, but Zerg is definitely doing a good job.
Storm.
Yeah, good storm there, but Zerglings getting on top of the Dragoons is not what you want as Protoss, because, Dragoons go down so quick to Lings.
Yeah.
Honestly, with HatcheryCake's giant gas, so much more gas banked than the minerals, I think it's actually a bit of a blunder that Protoss didn't switch to Archon Zealot. Because Archons do so well against this many Zerglings. And, that's a way of spending your gas. You can build some more gateways and get a bunch of Archons out to support the rest of your army. That might have made the difference, but Zerg's comp is actually crushing right now. It's crazy. It just goes to show how hard this game is. Protoss was ahead this entire game, and now is falling behind pretty seriously.
Cenderze is just, I think he's just doing really well.
Yeah, the multi-pronged tactics are just absolutely a strength of Zerg, and Cenderze is doing that really, really nicely. So, Zerg players take note, right?
Mound. Yeah. Fowler Mound for Zerg now.
There we go. Nice. I don't think they'll need it, but if they just want, one last thing to really seal the deal, if you get a good plague down on Protoss's last army, or a dark swarm on a base, then that's really GG right there. Now, if I had one thing to say about Zerg here, is at this point I would say Zerg, with all the counterattacks, if they could get down one more base, like retake their third.
I agree. Bunch of Zerglings headed to the 4th base location.
Yep, and all that Protoss has at the moment is some Zergling, or some Dragoons.
Yeah.
That Nexus is gonna pop. Look at how fast. There's only 6 Zerglings attacking it, and it's down. Alright, Zerg has basically twice the supply, and Protoss has no mining bases. I think this is going to be it. What a comeback.
Yeah. Cenderze has a very good, efficiency, his minerals. It's a late game.
Mm-hmm. Nicely handled, and a much stronger play coming from Cenderze than the last game we casted by them.
Yeah. I haven't casted any for HatcheryCake, but for Cenderze, we cast.
Yeah, I'd really like to see HatcheryCake maybe splitting the army a little bit better, to handle the multi-pronged tactics, but more importantly, I think just getting Archons and upgrades. If you get Archons and upgrades, this may have gone a lot differently.
Upgrades are killer. All this stuff just to kill.
Yeah. Zerg now has +2/+0 on their Hydras, and +2/+3 on the Hydras, and +3/+3 on the Zerglings. These are highly upgraded, whereas Protoss still running around with 1/1.
Yeah. From nowhere right now.
Yeah. Zergling's just cleaning up everything. This is going to be the final stroke here. GG.
Yeah. That was a very good game.
Yeah. Nicely done.
So far.
Good play on both sides for sure. HatcheryCake really showing some strength earlier on.
Thank you guys for watching. Join us next time.